The following program is being brought to you courtesy Hypertronics, G3 Foundation, and Garnick Property Management Services. This week, the team heads to the borough of Point Fortin to see how discipline, production, and tolerance are affecting the young people there.
Welcome to Discipline, Production, Tolerance, the search for our independence. And today we're in Fanny Village, Point Fortin. And over the past week we have been addressing, discipline, production, tolerance, and how it has been benefiting youths in society. And Trent, so how do you think that it benefits youths today? And aside from that, what else do you think carries the youth forward?
In terms of discipline, production, and tolerance, I think it applies to the youths of Trinidad and Tobago, where they would have the discipline to motivate their peers, and not only the youths but the elder heads of Trinidad and Tobago to grow with each other fully as a nation. Production, I think that youths, without production, there's certainly not growth in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, the right drive with production and the proper mixture of consistency, I think you can have a proper balanced life maintaining school as well as extracurricular activities. And I guess in turn, that would also motivate other youths who looking at him or who friends with him to be the best that they can be. In terms of tolerance, I think respecting other people's race, nationality, color, that kind of thing, that is truly what makes us Trinidad and Tobago a multicultural society. And that is definitely one of the most important watchwords out of the three. In terms of moving forward, I think Trinidad and Tobago, the youths of Trinidad and Tobago should get motivation from the elder heads, because not only we look up to the elder heads, but youths are the future generation of tomorrow. They are the leaders of tomorrow. So whatever we see now, that's what we'll put forward in the future when we're big. And yeah.
So cheers on that, Trent. You had some very interesting points and very true and great points. So cheers to that. So Nakaya, Trent touched base on a lot of good points about the youths and how they carry the country forward for the future generation. And what about the youths that are less fortunate or who hasn't got proper parenting growing up? But what are your points on this?
To add to his point, once we have the discipline to do what is right and do something that benefits the nation, and we have that drive to achieve goals and set forth achievements that we could reach, and once we have that support from our elder heads and parents and teachers, and even because support doesn't only come from home. There are a lot of people who don't have a good home or background, and so they look for support elsewhere. And it's essential and very important that the teachers of our nation do their job and educate and support their students and give them or help them with their goal to achieve success. We may not have it all when people come from all sorts of backgrounds, and some people don't have as much as others, and that should not be a deterrent to achieve your goal. Anybody could do anything once they put their mind to it, and with a lot of support from the elder heads and a lot of guidance, I think no matter what, no matter these trials or tribulations, they could achieve success regardless.
All right, so thanks, Nakaya. So Kodel, how do you think Trinidad's next generation would assess the country going forward, and what do you think they need to do to assess the country going forward?
Alright. Well, as a youth growing up, my background, well, we didn't really have much, right? And what made me didn't want to go into the bad life is because of sports, right? And sports, when you focus on sports, you don't want to really, alright, you don't want to be this bad person. You want to be something else. So you see, like looking at Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, them inspired youths. So you want to be like them, right? So now further from that, it have now generation is here, it have called racism, right? We are Indian, we are black, we are white. Now, as a youth now, I have friends who don't really, we don't really look at people's faces or color, right? So it does go with them. So now, if a person like, okay, he white, you're calling me white, they're calling me names and stuff, it wouldn't really look good. So that way everybody, okay, he call me black, I call he white, that way racism start off. So now, instead of people calling each other names and stuff, just be friends with them and normal, So like that, so it wouldn't really have no racism. And the elders now, don't teach the young children about racism. So they wouldn't know what is that. So it wouldn't have no more racism in the country, right?
So cheers, Kudel. So Jesse, as Kudel was on the point of racism, over this past election, there was an abundance of racism. And, it has been trending via social media or via videos. And, how has this affected the country in any way?
Well, racism hasn't had a big impact in the country where it started dividing a lot of youths of today. And as we talk about discipline, production, and tolerance, I think that it's time that we put our foot down and end racism. So there we have a lot of elders carry about themselves in a lot of disrespectful ways, which a lot of the new generation take up and tend to carry it on as a trend. And it's time that we wake up and realize that now is not the time to live divided and to live amongst ourselves with war and hate. Having experiences away where I play football in Sweden, I know I had experience in Portugal at a time where, because of my skin color, I was judged, which I find is unfair because God made everyone in their own image and likeness, and that is something we need to respect. And in today's world, you see racism bring a lot of people apart, and that's something, it really hurts. It hurts to know that you're being judged by your color, and you're being hated for the way you look. And to address that, we need to stand for ourselves. We need to make a change now for the younger generation that's coming up. And in order to do that, we need to show them what's right. We need to do what's right. Having towards young youths speaking up for their own good. We need more of that because in life, it's only how much you can take, and knowing that it coming close to home as home, where we have racism because people say nigger or you're Indian, it really don't make sense.
Cheers on that, lad. And we also say when to bring in the factor of tolerance. Does this have a part to play in racism today? It's being able to adapt to the different backgrounds, different religions. Just being able to adapt to people likeness and their will. Because I may see someone point different to them, and it might not be good for me, but they see it in a different way. So it's just all about adapting to each other. That's it. So cheers, Jesse. So Maya, Jesse brought across some very interesting and very, realistic answers. And Maya, what do you think about this factor of racism?
Well, like Jesse said, it's very disappointing and saddening to think that people are still stuck in this mindset. And I believe as youths, we need to reinforce the watchwords: tolerance, to be tolerant of others' opinions, religion, social custom, and eventually boot out racism altogether for generations to come. Yeah. Thank you. And, also discipline, because, to have discipline to see everybody as one and see everybody as God's creation. Yes, and yes. Do you think this is true? Yes, I do think it's true, and I believe discipline starts at home. Once you have that solid foundation, you'll be prepared for the world outside of your home and how to treat others, to respect your elders, and to work together to be a better country altogether. And, okay, so you said respect your elders was 100% true.
But what if these youths, elders are bad examples or who are showing them the wrong way? How would you address this?
Well, I wouldn't say all elders are bad examples, but you need to choose who you're looking up to. Choose, to do the right thing. And it takes a village to raise a child. So teachers, everybody needs to try their best to be a good example, set a good example for the youth so that they wouldn't be following the wrong things. As a nation, we could all use our talents to sustain ourselves. Use what we have to be productive, to do productive things. Social level, use our platform, social media, spread positivity, be an inspiration for others. If you didn't grow up with it, be the person you wanted while you were growing up for the next generation to come. Yes.
So thanks, Maya. So Tristan, they call us next gen for a reason, and we are going to carry forward and inherit the country one day. And how do you think about this?
Well, I think that that is something that's true. Some of us may be future doctors, lawyers, politicians. So yes, I would say that this is our country in the next 10, 20 years, and we have to set the example and make sure it's the right example for our younger siblings, our children, grandchildren. So we must always keep ourselves in check and make sure our morals and our values are in line with what is right. To ensure that society is
right.
good.
Right, and I heard you say you're gonna set the example, and as I said a what are some examples of by the statement of setting examples? What are some things that can be done to to set the right example?
Well, some things that can be done is that say for instance, if at home and my little brother make a mess, I wouldn't say, well, you clean it up, that you a mess, I will help him. And in turn, he would teach that to somebody else, either one of his friends or in school, and that is a message that being carried on. So that is how something small turns into something big that everybody eventually learns.
Choose your career based on how you want to help this country. Like, if you're focusing on medicine, are you going to come back and give back your medical degree to this country? Are you going to come back here? If you go abroad to study medicine, you're going to come back here and give your talent and treasure to Trinidad and Tobago. If you decide you want to be an engineer, are you coming back if you go abroad to study? All these things are what make Trinidad inheritable. If we come back and we give back. I am currently pursuing a degree in forensic science, and my dream is to come back here and open a forensic science center to kind of lower the crime rate in this country. So when I think about my dream, I think about my nation and where I come from and how much it has given to me and how much I want to give back to it.
If every youth in Trinidad and Tobago especially has the mindset that in the next 10 or 20 years the country is theirs, I think that it really shows off the national motto, which is together we aspire and together we achieve. And together we can achieve anything. Production is higher, tolerance of everyone irrespective of their race, nationality. It would truly make us a whole nation and not just Afro-Trinidadians or Indo-Trinidadians. We would be one, just Trinbagonians, no difference.
For every creed and race finds an equal place.
I like that point that you touch on there, right? A main thing that where we talk about racism and diversity and stuff, right? Like, there's no separation at all when it comes to racism, but the real separation there is wisdom, I would say, right? People who are wise or who would stay together, as in the motto, together we aspire, together we achieve. That shows a sense of wisdom that someone would have, right? And I think that moving forward with the next generation, also with us as well, we definitely need to take up that, and in this times of change, right? As they say, learners will inherit the earth, right? So in this time of change, with the pandemic and stuff, right? We definitely need to adapt to the change that's happening, so then we could definitely prepare for the next generation that is to come as well.
While abroad, there is a need to represent Trinidad and Tobago. There's a need to represent wherever you come from. There's a need to show your flag and show your nationality and just represent. And it is so heartwarming to see other Trinidadians and other Caribbean people come together during Carabana and during Labor Day to show and represent where they come from. And our culture is just so widespread all across the globe, and a lot of people represent our nation, and it is done so with pride. It's so amazing, absolutely beautiful.
So okay, so we were talking about national pride, and when you go abroad, you feel a lot of pride for your country, and I came from the great land of Trinidad and Tobago. And does it does the pride stay in Trinidad itself? Like, do you still feel pride knowing you're from Trinidad when you're in your country?
I believe that we should feel the same as people of Trinidad and Tobago within our nation. It all comes down to how we treat each other, how we treat the environment, how we behave with one another. So everything ties in with tolerance and discipline, so that our nation can become more productive than it already is. So, and it will all lend a hand in creating a better Trinidad and Tobago for the younger heads coming up in our future generation, not only for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children. So I believe that our national pride should remain within our daily activities and what we do and what we need to do.
So yeah, guys, so this is my friend from school. His name is Duncan Sunken, aka J Van Duncan. And so Sunken, everything revolves back to Dr. Eric Williams and our leaders, who gave us these watchwords, discipline, production, tolerance. And do you think we honor them as much?
Okay, honestly, I don't think we do enough to memorialize and show our appreciation for our leaders like Dr. Eric Williams and even the ones that we have now. I think we should do it in ways like making monuments and statues to honor them, like other countries do. And I think the onus is on the teachers and the other educators of our country to inform the youth of the importance of these political figures, so that they would know that they are the ones who shape the country, and that they are the ones responsible for us living in a relatively comfortable country that we live in today.
So yeah, guys, that's today's episode of Discipline, Production, Tolerance, the Search for Our Independence. Join us right here on MGTT for more.
This program was brought to you courtesy Hypertronics, G3 Foundation, and Garnick Property Management